140.1 million views and counting. Wonyoungism is a trend that has quite literally taken the K-pop community by storm, with thousands of accounts related to the trend and bettering oneself. But is it just diet culture repackaged? A new version of the ever-evolving glow-up trend? Or simply just a form of girls expressing themselves and learning to be confident? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my first video essay, so I am very excited for this, especially because it's on a topic that I am very interested in. And I have made lots of notes on my laptop to go through in this video. So let's begin. Before I get into any of this video though, I would like to do a little disclaimer. In this video, when I express my negative opinions towards the topic, I am not expressing these negative opinions towards Wonyoung herself. They are towards the Wonyoungism community on TikTok. So just keep that in mind. I love Wonyoung myself. In fact, yesterday I actually got tickets to see IVE at their world tour in June, and I am very excited. So trust, none of this is about her. It's mainly the community of some of her fans on TikTok. So I'm sure many of you know if you clicked and decided to watch this video, but I think we should start off with who is Wonyoung. Wonyoung is a 19-year-old K-pop idol who originally gained her popularity through the K-pop survival show Produce 48, where she finished placing first and became the centre in the group IZ*ONE. IZ*ONE debuted in October 2018 when Wonyoung was just 14 years old. Due to it being a group formed from a survival show, they only had a temporary 2.5-year contract, which meant that they disbanded in April 2021. And shortly after their disbandment, Wonyoung became an MC on the show Music Bank alongside Sunghoon from ENHYPEN, before then also debuting in a new girl group, IVE, in December 2021. Through Wonyoung's 5 years of being an idol, she has gained so many brand deals and ambassadorships in her time, her most notable one being Miu Miu. Her significant impact with brands has given her the well-deserved title of 4th Gen It Girl. So to start off with the Wonyoungism topic of the video, I think I should give a summary of what is Wonyoungism. According to my trusty Urban Dictionary, Wonyoungism is the trend of taking good care of yourself through skincare, exercise, and healthy eating habits. It is meant to embrace femininity and become the best version of yourself. This is inspired by IVE's Wonyoung, who is a K-pop idol that embraces her feminine energy and exudes confidence. Wonyoungism basically surfaced, I think, in around March, April, early spring this year, and I've seen videos of it very consistently through the year. Like, I still get the odd few on my feed page now, and I know for people that are a part of the community, it is still very prevalent in their For You page. And I think a reason that Wonyoungism became such a phenomenon among K-pop fans this year is because of the rise of hyper-feminine aesthetics, which Wonyoungism essentially is. I would say Wonyoungism and the pink Pilates princess aesthetic go very hand in hand due to a lot of the kind of motivational elements as well as the kind of fun pink feminine side to the daily routines. Okay, so now we know what Wonyoungism is, I think we should go into the negatives of the trend. First of all, I think Wonyoungism definitely kind of promotes the ideology that girls of all ages, specifically younger girls, I think the trend kind of targets around like 13 and 14, are being told that they have to constantly look perfect, have perfect hair, perfect body, perfect teeth, perfect nails, and perfect skin. And there doesn't really seem to be any flaws in the community, which I think most people could tell just from me saying that. It can have a very high impact on girls seeing these videos where people are talking about things that you can do to better yourself, or why you should do this to make your hair look like this, or why you should do this certain workout to make your body look like this. And as someone who has struggled with eating issues in the past, I know that obviously social media can be a massive factor in that, and I think Wonyoungism just can go a bit too far with maybe how people put things in a lot of ways. For example, I think in some of the videos where it's tips, direct address is used, as in like tips for you, and I think easily influenced young teenagers will think that they have to do these things because it's like tips for you, it's making it personalized. Like, obviously it's just your algorithm doing this, but a 13-year-old may see tips for you and it's ways or like not to stink in class, saying you don't want to smell, da-da. It can make people extra conscious of what is going on. They may be like, oh, what if I smell in this classroom of people and they're all talking about me? Stuff like that, which just causes these teenagers or even adults to feel obliged to take on these tips, when in reality reality they are likely coming from 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds on TikTok with a Wonyoung fan cam in the background. And this isn't applicable to every single video because I do think, as I will get onto later, there are a lot of positive videos that are involved in the Wonyoungism community, but from a lot of what I've seen personally, and I do think it probably makes up the larger proportion of the videos, are these kind of tip videos on stuff that is just unnecessary for a lot of people, especially young teenagers. And I think leading onto that, especially with the videos on kind of diets, you could definitely see Wonyoungism as just regular TikTok diet culture wrapped in a pretty pink bow, which I think is also very similar to the pink Pilates princess, hence why I mentioned that earlier. Because another quite large proportion in videos to do with Wonyoungism is about people making these new daily Wonyoung routines for themselves, which typically consist of waking up early, doing a workout which is typically Pilates, drinking green juice, doing skincare and hair care, eating healthy foods, journaling and manifesting, and then obviously working or studying. And I think a lot of the aspects in these things, that obviously all of the aspects are perfectly healthy for someone to do, but I think in Wonyoungism just a lot of these things can be taken very, very far, you know, like unnecessarily far. As well as the fact that in, for example, the skincare routine portions of the videos, a lot of the products being used are definitely luxury high-end products, or just stuff which kind of is high-end but has been packaged in this pretty pink way to make people want to buy it, for example glow recipe products. And obviously this can make the trend just appear very inaccessible for the teenage audience, which is, as I said before, the majority of the community taking part in the Wonyoungism trend, or I guess you could say lifestyle, because in reality no normal teenager just has random money to go off and spend on Dior and glow recipe, and if you do, props to you, but it just is unlikely for the majority of us. I would also say that these very extensive routines can create a kind of superiority complex in the girls' minds taking part in them. You know, I think that they can believe that waking up at 5 a.m, doing their workout, getting ready for school is taking better care of themselves necessarily than someone waking up at 7 a.m. to get ready for school. When in reality, especially for teenagers, sleep is one of the most vital parts of growth and development. So obviously for the adults taking part in this, waking up early is something that can be absolutely fine for them. But for the 13 and 14-year-olds who still have their brains growing and everything, that sleep is very much needed, more than a quick Pilates yoga workout in the morning. And I think the waking up early aspect kind of pushes these young teens into sacrificing their own time to be perfect and do a bunch of skincare and hair care, which a lot of us at the age of 13 really wouldn't do to that extent at all. Like, I know for myself, at the age of 14, 13, I had a skincare routine, but it was obviously quite simple, and I didn't do any hair care. Like, I don't know what these 13-year-olds now are doing with the hair care, but I still don't really do that much hair care at all. So, I mean, props to them, but it also is very unnecessary for them. As for years, 13-year-olds have never had to do that much skincare and hair care and self-care in general. I think it almost has that kind of element of growing up too quickly. Not that 13-year-olds can't do skincare and hair care, because I would sound like a hypocrite myself, as I definitely did have a very big makeup collection at the age of 13. As this has obviously changed over the years, like as I was 13, people probably started to act more maturely as 13-year-olds from 10 years ago, but I think it's gotten like even more now, you know, like the skincare and hair care seems like maybe just a step slightly too far for 13-year-olds who really shouldn't have to be caring about their appearance. From what I've seen as well, obviously I've not been a part of the community, so I don't have like a first-hand experience, but I do have first-hand experience as an observer and seeing a lot of these videos on my For You page. It seems that Wonyoungism is very competition heavy, and this may not even be like acknowledged by the people taking part. It's something probably an outsider would be able to see, like myself, more easily, because 14-year-olds are posting their weight or a picture of the scales and their weight on that for everyone to see. The viewers can definitely feel that kind of sense of competition, especially if they are struggling. You know, obviously posting your weight on a scales can be very, very triggering for many, and then cause a lot of the viewers to be like, oh, why am I not at this if this person's the same age as them, or I need to get to this goal quicker if it's working for this person, or all of that type of stuff. I personally think there's just much easier ways to talk about progress in terms of like feeling better in yourself than having to post your weight on a scale, which some people do. They to talk about how amazing they feel now that they've done Wonyoungism, that kind of lifestyle. But there are also many obviously posting their weights and it going very much a bit too far in terms of that aspect. And then I think my final point I have to mention as a negative is that the standards for Wonyoungism are very, very unrealistic for many people. I'd say this is likely because of the pictures used for inspiration in these videos. They are often obviously based off of Wonyoung or of Wonyoung, which does mean very pale skin, very clear skin, some straight shiny hair, and then obviously a thin body type, which as we know is just very unrealistic for so many people, whether that's because of ethnicity, body type, or disabilities. So I'd say that Wonyoungism can seem quite excluding of many different communities in terms of the goals, because not everyone can look like Wonyoung. I mean, that's the obvious. So yeah, I think especially for younger girls or like fans of Wonyoung, for example, who aren't very pale skinned with that straight shiny hair, it can make them almost possibly disheartened and excluded, like I mentioned, because if they want to participate in the trend, they can't do it to the same like extent as others in terms of that and long-term possibly goal. Okay, I've talked about negatives for a while now, so I thought I would go on to the positives of Wonyoungism now. Okay, the first positive I will start with is that there are some, what would I call them, sub-trends involved in Wonyoungism, and that typically revolves like a TikTok sound and people doing whatever to that TikTok sound. And I'd say these are often quite positive and just fun in general. And the first one I thought of was the video that she did for Innisfree, because she is also a Innisfree ambassador. And in that video, it was the Plump Glowing Hydration Boost Challenge, and it went like plump, glowing, hydration, boost. And I'll put the video in.
Innisfree Green Tea Go Plump Challenge. Plump, glowing, hydration, boost. Plump, glowing, hydration, boost.
But basically people added another like remix with it, and then a bunch of people were just doing the little dance with it, and it just became a really cute trend where people were showing off their like glowing skin from just doing skincare, and people just getting to embrace their kind of natural looks. Some people obviously did it with makeup on, but I think it was more just the fun dance as well as a very small part of Wonyoungism that just kind of brings people together, and just like seeing people having fun doing little TikTok trends and everyone commenting and being supportive. I took part in this one as well. It was just cute. I love a fun little cute TikTok trend, and that was exactly what it was. And Wonyoung has brought us quite a lot of fun little TikTok trends, so props to her because she is an icon. She's the fourth Gen 8 girl for a reason, guys. I love Wonyoung so much. And then the other trend I can think of is there was an interview, I believe, that she did. I think it was maybe her one with Youngji, and it's when she went, "You are you, I am me," and then people also added, I can't remember what song it was, but it was like another remix to it. I'll insert it here.
No problem. I don't care. You are you, I'm me.
And as you can see in these videos, it was very much like a confidence challenge, which is just very, very nice because obviously Wonyoung exudes this confidence, like what she said in that statement with the "You are you, I am me," you know, like she ate with that line, honestly. Sorry, I'm getting like passionate about Wonyoung right now. But people in these videos would often have like their pink products out, and they were either like watching Wonyoung, or it was just like people saying it to the camera, like showing off their confidence. And I just think it's really nice to get trends like that, rather than just the usual like lip syncing to audios. It was one about being yourself, not caring what others think, and I think that is actually quite a large chunk of Wonyoungism that maybe people kind of glaze over when they look at the topic, and people focus like more on the, oh, there's so many negatives to it, but people really don't often see the positives, which I think do come to a lot of people participating in the trend and in the community, which is just people have gained a lot of confidence from it. And I think it is really nice to see that in trends nowadays, you know? And I think it's just because Wonyoung as well, she just always carries herself in this very confident way that teenagers and adults can all aspire to be like, and I think that's why so many people of even all ages have participated in trends to do with Wonyoung and Wonyoungism. Honestly, I think there are also in Wonyoungism some actually good tips. I think more so on the confidence side. I think a lot of the tips to do with like how you should like present yourself, or like the self-care, skincare, workout tips, they have a higher chance of being problematic, but the confidence tips are actually pretty decent. In fact, I'll insert a video here of one of the videos I found that actually has some pretty decent tips in it. I mean, I think like every time you feel insecure about something, name a thing you like about yourself. I think that's pretty valid. I think that's something that a lot of people should do. I mean, it's not something that like I do, because I've never really thought about these tips, but you know, maybe if I ever feel insecure, I'm gonna say something that I like about myself, and it will help balance stuff out, you know? Or write about yourself from a perspective of someone who is deeply obsessed with you. Now, obviously this could make some people seem narcissistic, but it does probably help with confidence. Like, I've never written about myself, but I'd probably have a fun time writing about myself, and I think it would make you more confident. And honestly, these tips could be coming from a 15-year-old, but they are pretty smart. The only one that I probably wouldn't on this video that I put up agree with is the don't watch other girls, press do not interest, or block. Honestly, the second part, you have to find yourself, so stop looking somewhere else. That makes sense, but I don't think you have to fully stop watching other girls, especially as that one is kind of a part of the Wonyoungism trend, so therefore it doesn't. You're looking up at Wonyoung, so you're not fully not looking up at girls. Besides the point. There are some good tips to do with Wonyoungism, and I think, again, people do kind of look over them and not acknowledge the fact that the trend is very much about confidence as well as other things. I think it also depends on the people participating in the trend. I would say that a very large proportion of people taking part in the trend, particularly probably the older side of things, like people in their late teens, early 20s, are doing it as more of the, oh, it's a fun, girly aesthetic. Because like I was talking about earlier with how hyper-feminine aesthetics have become very popular this year, I would say I have been someone who's definitely played into that. I think we're finally getting to kind of experience just enjoying being a girl, and I think that definitely helped with the Barbie film coming out and stuff this year. But we've just seen a rise in girls getting to do girly things without getting hated on it, and I think a lot of people use Wonyoungism as their kind of excuse to do just that. So yeah, I think it is nice to see people showing off their fun little pink skincare routines in their bathroom organized in a nice way, or people with the pink ribbons in their hair. It's just fun, and I love getting to see girls doing girly things and getting to enjoy being feminine and having just a great time, you know? And I don't think everyone participating in Wonyoungism is looking at the dieting side of things. I would say, obviously there are people participating in that, as I've like mentioned earlier, but there is still a very large community of people doing Wonyoungism that is just about the kind of feminine stuff and enjoying being a girl. So despite the dieting stuff all obviously being bad, it isn't everyone. I think I've seen a lot of people hating on Wonyoungism and the community as a whole thing, but I think you could almost separate it into two things, like Wonyoungism as like a dieting looks culture, and Wonyoungism as a confidence, even feminist movement. I'm not gonna go that far, but like I think you can see where I'm coming from in terms of that with the whole confidence element. Another thing with the routines is that routine is obviously a very, very good thing for a lot of people. You know, some people obviously live their day-to-day lives doing everything by a routine, so I think we can't fully bash people for doing these extensive routines. I just think it depends on the age of the people participating in these very long days, you know? For example, you know, for adults, waking up early and doing a workout is just a lot more manageable in their kind of work lives, and it's easier to fit into their schedule than someone having to go to school. And it can even help adults be a bit more like organized as well, like getting into this routine of self-care while also going to work. I think it can definitely be a positive for adults, but maybe for teens, like I was saying, it can just be seen as unnecessary, you know? We're all trying to get through school. I'm trying to get through A-levels right now. So you don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. Trust, I don't wake up at 5 a.m. I think I made a morning routine video where I woke up at 5 a.m. and I did that a couple times, like it wasn't like a daily thing. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't a daily thing. Nowadays I wake up at like 7:30. So yeah, we really don't need to put pressure on ourselves to wake up early to do the self-care, because we can manage. And I think getting sleep at the moment is most important for teenagers and adults as well, you know? Like, these routines are needed. If you don't need a routine, you don't need to do it. But it can obviously be beneficial for some people. Along with the confidence of Wonyoungism as well, I would say that the trend as a whole is very kind of motivation heavy. I'll try and find some examples to put up, but there's some I've seen since the trend have started where it's like, this is how to start your Wonyoungism lifestyle, or how to start being more productive now, or tips to make your skincare routine better, that are all involved in the Wonyoungism trend, or even videos mentioning how like Wonyoungism has benefited them, which then influences other people to partake. So I think that the community sense in Wonyoungism is actually quite strong, because a lot of people are taking part in Wonyoungism because of another person's video that they've seen, and then they may make a Wonyoungism account and follow this other Wonyoungism account, and they become friends and all of that. So despite there being downsides to these tips, especially the ones where it's like, oh, the workout ones, like you've got to start your workouts now and do a workout every day, there can be a lot of motivational things that make people just kind of go, oh, maybe I could start doing that, or oh, I want to live a Wonyoung lifestyle and just have fun and do pretty things. So fair enough. I think that the community is fairly supportive. I mean, in all random TikTok communities there are going to be some people that are pains, but a lot of people seem to just be supportive of each other. Like, they're in this together, you know, trying to have a nice self-care routine, type of stuff like that. I'd say it's only when motivation goes so far, specifically on dieting things, that it can kind of slip into the territory of disordered eating, which is obviously where this can become an issue. Because I think with these trends where people were kind of very quickly changing their whole lifestyle, it can be easy to see trends quickly, even just in like feeling better in yourself. And this can cause people to want to push further and further. And like when you're already in a healthy place with your lifestyle, trying to make it healthier can result in making your lifestyle unhealthy because of, you know, just going so far with dieting, for example. So I think it just depends as well on the people and their like natural mindset. But overall, the motivation is, I think, in just kind of a fun way to start. It's just when it goes too far, but that's kind of the case with all trends, I think. So to conclude this, from looking from the outside in, Wonyoungism can just be seen as a fun, girly, hyper-feminine trend where girls can motivate themselves to be the best version of themselves. But overall, I would maybe say the negatives can outweigh the positives, just because the negatives can be so detrimental, as people can get so caught up in living these super healthy, borderline unhealthy lifestyles. But I did mention before that I think there are kind of two sides of Wonyoungism, and I do still think that is very much the case. The confidence side, as well as then the kind of looks focused side. So I think the confidence side is definitely the more positive one, where I think there's really not any harm in it. And then the look side is more on the border of it can be okay, but it depends on what people are saying and all of that type of stuff. But I obviously haven't mentioned every single thing to do with the topic here. So if you have any other thoughts and opinions about the topic, do feel free to comment them, because I've had chats with multiple people about this before making this video, and I think it would just be interesting to see what some people think, because I know some people may see it as a completely negative thing and see no positives, but I obviously wanted to show both sides to the argument in this. So yeah, comment if you have any other things that you thought about this. I honestly had a lot of fun making all the little notes that I made for it. It was just super enjoyable. It's obviously a topic that I feel quite passionate about, because obviously K-pop takes up quite a bit of my time, and it's obviously a lot about what I take in on social media. And it's just nice to talk about something that I've not seen many other people actually talk about in this kind of video essay format. And I have been wanting to do a video essay for a while, so I thought this was just very fitting as the one I should do. It has taken me a while to come and make this, because I literally thought of this idea in summer, but we finally got there. I've just been busy with school. So thank you all for being patient, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Bye!